to Relationships and Astrology, and we're looking at the week of June 4th. And I am Margaret Gray, still in Chicago, Illinois, with.
Armand Diaz, and I'm also still in Chicago, Illinois.
So we've got this great opportunity to be together, and we thought we'd actually do the recording for this week while we're together rather than across the Atlantic. And this is kind of an interesting week, isn't it, Armand? And people know when we say interesting, it means it's not quite like it was last week, basically.
Last week we said things were going to be great. I hope you took advantage of it, because this week some challenges come up, and they come up pretty early.
And we're sorry for laughing, but So the big one, of course, is Venus opposite Pluto. I mean, that's really big. We've got Venus in Cancer opposite Pluto in Capricorn, and that's the biggie. I mean, because the first thing that comes to mind is there's passion, of course. The best possible version of it is passion, but the most limited version is really obsession. So if you've been hankering over somebody, maybe unrequited love, or just somebody you haven't maybe even spoken to and you really like or whatever, just be careful this week. Be careful, this is not the time to send those texts at midnight, to an ex-partner or to somebody you really like, or to make a big announcement or whatever. We just say be a little cautious. But if you're in a really, happy relationship and there's a lot of love and passion, then this could be a wonderful aspect where you could really do something together that's passionate. And I mean, good time for sex as well, of course.
It could go down that way. I think the basic tension there is Venus in Cancer is very protective, traditional. This is what we need emotionally. And then Pluto in Capricorn is a little bit more in the sense of obligations. This could actually come up as a kind of come on home, I have to work late type of thing. That type of issue could pop up, but a lot of things could pop up when Venus opposes Pluto. This is the goddess's trip to the underworld, and there may be some bargaining that's done. This is an opposition. This is what we can agree upon, and it may it may not be the most it may be an offer you can't refuse type of thing.
Also, could be a power struggle. I mean, that's another thing. Excuse me, to look out for, that there could be a power struggle, that there could be a challenge, and power always comes into relationships one way or the other. It's just how conscious you are, how you manage it, how you maneuver it. Now, another thing that's going on at the same time is the Sun conjunct Mercury. So again, just to be careful that there may be a drive to really communicate something, but as I mentioned, maybe not the best time to do it, just to hold off till the end of the week.
It's in Gemini, so maybe you could see another perspective, but I think that it tends to be, when the Sun gets very close to Mercury, it tends to be very much a kind of, this is the way I see things, as opposed to being able to get perspective. And throwing something into the mix too, we're eventually going to get those planets squaring Neptune.
Yes, I just realized that, I was just thinking that, and I thought, oh my goodness, so it's like there's clarity one day and then it gets really confusing. So it kind of gets increasingly fuzzy. And I think with Neptune, the thing is that we think we're being clear, we think we really know what we want and so on. And then Neptune comes along and there's this fog. It's like really driving on a motorway, and you're fine and the sun is shining, and then suddenly you can't see, 2 inches ahead of you. So just to be careful of that.
And Margaret, studies show that in deep fog, people drive faster. You can't see what's coming, and maybe it's they want to get out of it, or maybe they don't see the dangers. But people tend to drive faster in deep fog, and I can just see Sun conjunct Mercury in Gemini and square Neptune. The fog rolls in, and I got to get this out. I got to say this thing. I got to communicate it. It could be a problem.
So we're really saying take a deep breath, hold off, just pay heed, because these are not small transits, they're really big ones. And also even into Friday, Mercury is quincunx Pluto. So, again, the urge to be truthful, the urge to say something. But really, I would say, Armand, would you agree to really hold off this week on saying anything important, really maybe until next week?
Yeah, I would be kind of, if you didn't say it last week, maybe this is not the time, because I do think that there is a tendency to, especially that quincunx aspect at the end of the week, it'd be kind of like, there could be a little unspoken thing. It could be kind of, you will wind up communicating. Don't text this week. Take your phone and just put it in the drawer and just leave it there, because I think that those types of communications between the Neptune and everything else, very, very likely to go wrong.
And also, emails, what I do sometimes with emails is just don't put the address in. Write the email, put it as draft form, save it, and then next week look at it if you really have something that's important to send.
Yeah, I could see pushing the send button and then, I shouldn't have done that.
Absolutely, yeah, whoops, so we can't take it back. So kind of an intense week, really a challenging week. So everybody take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and just be aware that everyone's going through the same thing. So if somebody reacts in a way that isn't too pleasant, just maybe walk away and wait to deal with it later.
And on that happy note, we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, everyone.